Assalamu alaikum boys. So we were on the verge of fixing this specific code. So there's an indentation problem, which is a big problem, and we don't expect this to happen in any of examinations. Okay. So the issue here is, you can see I just put it here. So it has come with my screen recording. Okay. So this is the function. It should be there, except for the screen recording thing. Okay. So the issue was on this line. Actually it should be indented. So what it does, it takes the function here, it calls the function here, and it goes to this specific point. So it's a good practice to circle this, like, scar the area and work with it. Okay. So this is it goes to function and takes 30 here. Instead of n, it's gonna take 30 and it's gonna create an empty list. Then it start the for loop on the range of 4 to n plus 1. So it's gonna start with 4, and n is 30, 30 plus 1 is 31, and it will go until 30, one before the last always. So n is 30, it's going to be 31. So it's going to be taking all the values 5, 6 up to 30. So if the number is a modular divided by 2, it's modular division. So for example, if you take your first number, it's divided by 2, and this is what it's gonna check, the remainder. If 5 is divided by 2, it's going to be 2 remainder 1. It's gonna check this one. So is equal to, so that's double equal to 0, that means it's an even number. My number dot append, so this is the list, it's gonna append the I. So the number, it's gonna append it. So starting from 4, it's gonna append 4. So append means adding at the end, and once it done with this loop, all the up to it goes as 30, and it's gonna print the number. Okay. So write down the output of the above Python code. So it's gonna print my number, which is the array inside this one. So it's, you have to start with an array. So it's gonna print the array. So yeah, so first one here, I think I have to write the answer here. So it's gonna start with 4, then it's gonna print 6, 8, 10 up to 30. Okay, it's gonna print all the even numbers. Okay, write down the output of the above Python code when the condition of if this one turns to this. This is not equal, this is equal. This means is equal. So usually in computing we use the exclamation mark to negate. This says is not equal. Okay, so it's going to check all the even. So 4 is not equal to 0, so 4 will not come. It will come from 5, 7 up to 29. Okay, so that's going to be the answer. Okay, another code of Python. Write down the replacement for the labels for the following Python code, which has been written to find the largest set of integers. So definition, which is a function here. So I'm gonna box it out a little bit higher from this side. Yes, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna change the color. Okay, so it will not work, it will start working here. So list is it's a list which has these numbers. Okay, 4, 6, 24, 12, 8, 94 and 22, and it calls the function called as find largest, and it has to send some data, right? So it's gonna send my list to this one for my list parameter. Okay, so the argument is sent as list1, so f should be list1. Okay, so next it goes to the first line, which is largest equal a. So that's a tip, like for example, if you're gonna find the largest score or something, you start with the smallest value. Okay, if you want to find the largest, you start with the smallest value. If you find the smallest, if you want to find the smallest, start with the largest value. So that's kind of thing that is easy to manipulate. You can put any number here, don't worry. Okay, for the largest you can put any number, or you can put the first number. Whatever you say, first number is the largest. For example, in this case I can put my list 0th element, which is the first number that we're gonna check. Okay, so I'm gonna make it as 0. A is going to be 0. That's like largest. I'm gonna put the lowest of that value. For I in B, so I have to check, is it gonna work inside the list, or they're gonna work with index, where we have to use range. Okay, so if it is working with the index, we have to go for the range, otherwise we have to go for the list itself. So if I is greater than C, so it's not gonna work with the range, like sorry, it's not gonna work with the index, because to go for the smaller one, it's not gonna work with the index, because it takes I directly, which means it's gonna take this list here. So it's gonna check with list. The name for B is, it is my list. Okay, you can access this list also, since it is global. You cannot modify it without the global keyword. Anyhow, say first is going to my list. Okay, because that is what is passed on top. Greater than C, greater than C means C should be largest. Sorry, for B it is my list, for C is largest. So if it is greater than largest, then largest equal to I, simple as that. So the print the largest value is largest, the simple one. Okay, so once you find the largest value, you're going to print it at the end of the day. Okay, question number 4, the last question here. A team in the school IT society has been requested to develop a software to help students reserve computers in the school laboratory. The students are to be given the facility to update their information, so the system should give facility to update their information. Okay, and it helps the student to reserve computers. So student do two things here. Okay, students, they reserve and they can update their details. Okay, the admin should do what? Given the facility to add or remove data, students, he can add the students or remove the students. Okay, the following DFD prepared by the development team for the above system. Okay, so there are two external entities here, there are three processors here, and there are two data stores here. Okay, so how do you find an entity, how do you find a process, and how do you find a data store? Okay, good. So usually these are processes. If you feel like that's an activity is done, that's a process. Okay, so yeah, we'll come to that. A number list replacement for the P and P to Q are given below. Write down the relevant box number. You have to put the number always. The most suitable replacement for the each labels given in the DFD. So first one is administrator, then handle request, reservation, request details, student and students, student details, and update student details. So if you see this one, so if you find the activities, I'll just highlight the activities. So you can see this is an activity, and this is another activity, handle the request. So you can see that's kind of like uh, something is happening there. So those are the two activities that happens, and the data, we don't say like if you pay the money to the say the reception, so you don't say money is transferring, you say amount is transferring. For example, in the past few years we got the stamp example. We don't give the stamp, we give the stamp details, because this is a data flow diagram. Only the data is for flowing. So we'll give the details. So whatever the details are, those are what we call as data. So these details are data. So update student details is a like verb, that should be a process. So details are data. Okay, so we can see what's gonna happen here. So these are the main nouns here. So the name of the entities are also nouns, and the data store also going to be a noun. That's the common thing. So just keep in mind. Okay, don't go and seek these things and place it directly without a context. Okay, you should have the understanding what's going on. I just gave you a tip over there. So P send student ID and student ID. So P should be student. Okay, and here they give the student and confirmation. Manage students means you should be add or removing the students. That's what the manage does. So it is done by the admin guy. So we have these two. So this is request details are here. So student should send the request details. So student plus Q. So this is also going to be request details. Here you are getting student details, so he should send the student details as well. Okay, it's going to be very easy now. So if we sending request details, so it is going to be the reservation. This should be the reservation or the process of reservation. So this is handling the reservation request. In this case, handling the request. Next one is update student details. It's very easy now. So request details are going to a data store, but we are left it. We are done with student administrator. Yeah, these are done. We have reservation and students. Yes, these are reservations, and this is the detail about students because all the student details are going here. Okay, very easy go. So you can match it very quickly here. So P is student, so which is number 5. W is admin, which is number 1. Then Q is request details, which is number 4. U is student details, which is number 7. R is the handling request process, which is number 2. V is update student details, which is number 8. S is reservations, number 3. And T is the data store of students. Okay, good. The computers are to be made available for the students only for 30-minute slots between 8 to 5 p.m. on weekends. However, a student is allowed to reserve a maximum of 30-minute slots per weekend. Okay, write down one functional requirements with respect to computer reservation. So this should be just functional means what the system does. So system gives 30-minute slots between 5 to 10 p.m. on weekends. You can just write that. Okay, so what the system does, it gives 30-min. System gives or make available 30-min time slots between 8:30 or 8 to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekends. This is the what the system does. Yeah, you can go ahead. Give one technical aspect that the development team should check when conducting the technical feasibility of this project. So specifically this project. So we have to check with is the technical feasibility is like you can just explain 2 words. One is technology is available, which means can you build with the current technology that you have. and is the team is competence with the technology, if the technology is available. Okay, to build this specific thing, so you can just add some data. So that is the I'll just change the color there. This is good. Not the color, I just highlighted the answer. Okay, so just put some words that make sense, because this is for this project. Okay, it's going to be one, it's going to be a small mark there. Okay, so the waterfall model is suggested for the above development. Why is the proper requirement analysis critical? Of course. Okay, in waterfall method we cannot change the requirements, which is not flexible throughout the program. If the analysis is not done properly, mostly the project gonna be a failure, because it's hard to change in waterfall method. It's hard to change requirements. Sometimes you have to start from the beginning again. Okay, good. Three students are to develop the reservation, update student details, and manage students modules separately. So you can see reservation, update student details, and manage students. Check the previous question. Those three are the three processes. Okay, so those are the three modules that you have to develop. Yeah, separately. So if you go wrong, you can just might be get a support from this question. Okay, the IT teacher had taught different types of software testing. What is meant by integration testing? Nothing to do with the question. Okay, this is the stage where already tested units are joined and tested as yeah, tested. We can just give that. So in industry this is one of the hardest tests. Like it works in individually, but when it's come to integration, there are different integration engineers as well. Like integration is not an easy part. Okay, so it's very like it works for you, then it's to integrate to other system, it becomes not functioning properly. So it's a big thing in industries. Okay, the IT teacher suggests the team during a direct deployment of the software. Give as to why reason the teacher did not suggest the parallel deployment. If you do parallel deployment, you have to do both of the reservation at once, which is not going to be successful among students. Okay, since there is a duplication of the work, mostly it's not going to be successful, since student may not adhere, which will cause many issues. Okay, and it does not have like it does not have much risk also. So since it is not a risky project, you can go for direct deployment. Okay, when it's risk only, you go for parallel, which has an unsure state. Okay, sometimes students come and say I have put a reservation on the online, but I didn't give the letter in writing. Or someone might have given the letter in writing, but not that they have not go for online method. So you have issues. Okay, I think last question for today. One member of the IT society wants a commercial off-the-shelf software to be considered for the system instead of developing it. Give rise one reason as to why the team should reject it. So they are asking to reject a COT system. So you have to talk about the disadvantage of a COT system related to this specific scenario. Okay, so you have to give one reason. Okay, so sometimes it not does what you expect to do. It is not flexible, it is not customized functionally. Okay, customization is there, but customization is there for what they have provided. For example, if you have a company in Sri Lanka and Dubai and Saudi Arabia and USA, you can configure a lot of parameters there, but not the functionality side. The functional is the same, you have to use the software, but sometimes you can choose the currency, you can choose different like small parameters. So it's not gonna work for uh, like different functionalities. So first thing is it is less flexible in customization. Try to fix this. Come on, customization. At least now, yeah, customization. So it's not change functionally. Okay, so it's hard to change the things. Okay, and so sometimes cuts may be expensive. This is a small program, we can just make it very quickly. But if it is you have to buy it, usually you won't, they won't sell the small programs, they will sell with all the other packages. Okay, and there will be lot of functionality that will be unused in the software, which you have paid for. They are not free, like it's a package, right? It's a package. Sometimes there will be a lot of functionalities you never use. Okay, okay boys, thanks for joining, and yeah, all the best, have a good day. And yeah, may Allah make it easier, boys. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.